Number 36, after visiting relatives who live 200 miles away, your family drives home at an average speed of 50 miles per hour. Your distance d in miles from home is given by d equals 200 minus 50t, where t is the time in hours spent driving. Graph the function, identify the domain and range. What is your distance from home after driving for 1.5 hours? Okay, let's start off by making our x and y axis. Since this is a real-world situation and we're talking about hours and miles, we can't have negative distances, so I'm going to focus on quadrant 1. If we want to think of d equals 200 minus 50t, we could also think of that as y equals 200 minus 50x. So really the distance depends on the amount of time you're from home, or y depends on whatever x is. If you think about a table of values, x and y, x, which represents t, the time you've driven, well, if you haven't started driving for 0 hours, you're still going to be 200 minus 50 times 0, or 200 miles from home. If you were to travel, let's say, 1 hour, well, 200 minus 50 times 1, it's going to be 150. At some point, this is going to have to stop. You couldn't say, hey, I'm going to let x equal 10, because, well, 50 times 10, that's 500 miles. 200 minus 500, you're negative 300 miles from home. That doesn't even make sense. So let's see if we can figure out where this graph is going to stop. We've got time in hours, and we've got distance from home. Penmanship could use a little work over there. And we're measuring in miles. Boy, that's really rough. Okay, that's all right. So we decided that 0 to 100, holy cow, I'm not going to be able to go by ones. I think to fit this on the graph, I'm going to go by 20s. So I've got 20, 40, there's 60, 80, there's 100, 120, 140. All I'm doing is changing the scale so I can fit things. 180, 200, there's 220. Okay, what do we have? We have 0 to 100. Right there, that's going to be a stopping point, because I can't have anything beyond that. I can't have negative time. 1, 150. Okay, what if I went for 2 hours? 50 times 2 is 100. 200 minus 100 is 100 miles from home. So 2, 100. Things are lining up here nice. What if I were to create this graph? If I put arrows on both ends, I'd be in trouble. Because again, you can't have negative time. So instead, what if I made a ray? Because I know there's this one endpoint. What if I went like this? Stops and it goes forever this direction. Well, that doesn't make sense either, because if you're down here, you're looking at negative distance from home. That doesn't make any sense. So let's peel this back until we're home, until we're 0 miles from home. So you can see it's going to stop right there at 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. That makes sense, because 50 times 4 is 200. 200 minus 200, you're 0 miles from home. We could we graph the function. We talked about the domain. It could be anything. X's could be anywhere from 0 to 4, so 0 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 4. The range, your y values, the shortest distance you are from home is 0 miles. The biggest is 200, and really you could be anywhere between them. So we write it with the fancy range. Use your graph to figure out what's the distance from home after driving 1.5 hours. Well, there's 1.5. Let's work our way up. Looks like right there, which corresponds to 120 miles from home.